Good morning, everybody. Saturday, May 8th, 2021. Let's get right to it. What worked and what didn't work on my recent trip. And most of that is going to focus on the van, Little Rascal. Let's talk about what worked on my recent trip and lessons that paid off for me. Number one, of course, and top of everything is if you're going to be living the van nomad life, you need to make sure that you can sleep well in the van. And with my privacy shade in the back, as well as my privacy curtain in the front, and the reconfigured bed, by shortening the width of it and having room to, still plenty of room for for bedding and being comfortable in bed, but also now with that drop down table, being able to take care of hygiene in the morning, being able to do things like put on makeup, and it's just a lot more comfortable for being inside of the van. That has really paid off big time compared to the flat platform that just went across the whole back before. So that's something I'm really glad that I changed up because it aided the comfort dramatically. Not just a little bit, but a lot. Let's talk about what else worked on that. The van performed well. That I don't know, it was 2.6 or 2.4 liter four-cylinder just keeps rolling along, and now I've put 62,000 miles. It was new to me at 20,000 miles. So I have 82,000 miles, and I have a lot of confidence in the powertrain, the transmission. It's really done well. I've only had to do one minor repair, and that was replace a thermostat. Yes, there's been a couple recalls along the way, but I've gotten them taken care of in a satisfactory manner with no cost to me, and that's been good. Ram has been very good. And for those of you who don't know, I have a 2016 Dodge ProMaster City van that I use for traveling. So the Stealth continues to be great too, due to the small size of the van and the inconspicuous profile that it puts on the street when people check it out. It just looks like a work van. So that has worked out beautifully on the road. What else worked out well was the selection of destinations. I think going all the way from the beautiful coastal town of Encinitas, and if you haven't checked out those videos, please do so. The beautiful coastal California town of Encinitas below Oceanside on the Pacific Ocean was just a wonderful place. And scooting over to Palm Springs, getting in the heat a little bit. I enjoyed Palm Springs immensely. I didn't enjoy the ride from Palm Springs to Las Vegas. Had some fun in Vegas, and then it was over to, well, before I went to Vegas, of course, I went to the Slab City, which ended up being the most watched series, which is not surprising because there's a mystique that surrounds Slab City. And it's usually portrayed in a negative manner, but these are real people that live there with real lives, and I think I captured the essence of the real Slab City. Then it was on to up the road to Goldfield for 4 or 5 hours. Stopped there, which I enjoyed immensely. It's a western town that hasn't been modernized at all, unlike Tonopah, which was my next destination that could have really benefited from some historic zoning in Tonopah. So I found it a very difficult city to cover properly and to do a really nice feature on. Maybe in the future I'll go back and revisit that. I did enjoy the Mitzpah Hotel immensely, even though I'm quite sure it's haunted with weird things going on in the night. It was still a lot of fun to spend a night in the Grand Lady of the Old West there, the Mitzpah Hotel in Tonopah. What else worked really good was the flow of getting videos up. One of the biggest fears is that you get on, at least for me, because I'm a constant content creator is that you can fall woefully behind in doing content, and you're having live streams and things 1,000 miles away in another place, and you're still putting the end of the train, you're still putting up content from a town 1,000 miles prior. So I was able to keep pretty much current. And I owe a lot of that to using the smartphone and using the in-camera editing capability, in-phone editing capability of Power Director by Cyberlink. I think it's a fantastic program. Combined with Epidemic Sound, which is, I don't know, about $100 a year for a paid subscription service. You don't have to worry about being nailed by copyright and things like that. And I'm not paid to promote. I don't do promotions here on the channel unless I think it's something that really is great. I think this is good, but I'm not sponsored by Epidemic Sound, so you can check them out. They have all the genres. So I think that the flow of things works very, very well. Now let's get on to some things that didn't work well, or I shouldn't say didn't work well. They're a little worrisome. And the Dodge ProMaster City, I have the 2016, is really designed for flat paved roads. It's specifically built for tradesmen, for in-city work, right? Not traveling great distances. And the van suspension is not really adequate for a lot of the two-lane roads that are out there. It's very susceptible to wind, which is very scary when you're on a two-lane road tooling through the desert with hundreds of huge semis passing, and every one of them is gusting it over the side. You know, there's no way you can just sit back and cruise on those kind of roads, especially with this kind of vehicle. And I'm worried about the suspension a little bit because it's not meant for anything except just asphalt, right? And you get on some of these old concrete screwed up roads. You got to have confidence. I have total confidence in the engine and things. I don't have total confidence in the suspension. There's limited things I can do, Bilstein shocks and things like that. So I'm going to look into upgrading the suspension on that, making sure I have really, really good steer tires. The other thing is it's trying to find the right mix of blending history, cinematic B-roll, and just checking out these towns and things. And that's going to be sometimes really, really challenging. You know, you have some people who just love the cinematic features. Some people just like the walk and talk. So I'm trying to kind of blend the two of them together so we more incorporate B-roll within the story instead of making separate content of cinematic features. And of course, B-roll is the things that aren't directly in the storyline, but there are things that you'll see that surround the storyline. Okay, they're interesting architecture, cool stuff. It's not directly in the storyline of visiting the town, but it adds to I would say, the beauty of the whole experience for people. So I really like incorporating that. So I've had a lot of feedback on that. I think that's the direction I'm going. I think of all the videos, I think Goldfield most directly represents that blend of the two between the a little stopping for some background and then some more B-roll, more background, B-roll history. So I think that works out pretty good. But overall, I would rate it a strong B on the trip. Like I was continuously saying when I was doing lives on the road, you got to have that confidence in your vehicle. And this vehicle is simply not built for the pounding of, especially when you get off the beaten path onto secondary highways and really bad back roads, like going down to Neyland and then Neyland to Slab City is horrendous. and I don't want to destroy the van. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Those are the things that worked. I can't say maybe didn't work, but things that I want to address in the future. On that note, I'm going to close it out. Wish you a nice day. If you would take a minute to thumbs up the video, it would be most appreciated. Happy Saturday, everybody.